Welcome to the Gentleman of Style Show. I'm Baldwin.
And I'm Creech.
And no, it's not a mistake. We just switched the logo. We're still Baldwin and Creech, Gentleman of Style. We just switched the logo. So from now on out, you're going to hear us say, welcome to the Gentleman of Style Show. It's just a new logo. We're still the same people.
Yeah, what we try to do is basically, the Gentleman of Style Show has its own entity now. So you guys know us as Baldwin and Creech, so you know who we are by now. And
right.
As we continue to go, we grow, you know who Baldwin and Creech is. But the show has its own identity. It has its own Facebook page. If you haven't figured that out yet, go to the Gentleman of Style Show page. That's where all the videos will be housed from each show, each episode. You can still find them on YouTube too. But this is where they'll be housed, so it's a little bit easier to get to.
Yeah, just type in the Gentleman of Style Show, and it should pop up.
Right.
It's easy to find.
You know, if not,
we posted links all over the place
right.
to get to the page. So
right.
Even if you're on Instagram or one of the other social outlets, you can find it, and you can get right to the page.
All right, well, let's get down to business today. Today what we want to talk to you guys about is really understanding two things. One, how to get your wardrobe together in terms of how to match. A couple of women have asked us, you know, kind of what we do to match our clothes or what we do to match our style or how do we put everything together.
Right.
And then also, later in the show, we're also going to talk about getting a good match when you're talking about education.
Right.
When it comes to, going back to school, if you've been in the workforce and you're going back to school, or if you've got kids that are going off to school. So we're going to talk about that as well.
So what we're going to do is this. I'm going to give my personal view as far as how I do it, and Terrence is going to give his personal view of how he performs and he puts together his outfits, and then we'll roll into the other part of it as far as the finding a good fit as far as the schools or secondary education is concerned.
Sure.
Okay. Where do I start at? Well, first thing, I go off of a feeling. It just depends. Now, it also depends on where I'm going. It's a feeling and where I'm going. If I'm going to a certain venue, then that's going to dictate what I dress, how I dress. If it's just a regular day, it just depends on how I'm feeling that day. And, both of them kind of go together. But whenever I'm putting on my outfit, I go into the closet, I'll check out what I have there. If I've worn something, in the past couple of days or whatnot, I try not to repeat an outfit. At the same time, my wardrobe is basically universal. I can mix and match. The suits, maybe not so much because they are suits, they go together. But what you place with the suit, you can kind of vary that from one color to the next, or one texture to the next as far as what you add up underneath that. Also with shoes and things of that nature, shirts and handkerchiefs and ties. So it just depends. It just depends. If you have more basic tones, then that kind of makes it a little easier to do. And I have a lot of basic tones in my wardrobe. I have some flair, but those flares, they have an identity of their own. I can kind of go either way on both sides of it, but I kind of start, I look at, what color shirt am I? I'll pick out the suit. I'll say, I'm going to wear that suit. And once I wear that suit, I'll start looking at shirts. Shirts are the second thing that I look at. And once I pick a shirt out, then I start thinking about, the shirt, Once I pick the shirt out, if it's just a white background or a black background, I can kind of go a whole lot of different ways on it. But if it's like a tone shirt, a colored shirt, say a melon or a tropical color or something like that, then okay, that's going to deserve a little bit more special attention. I'll start looking at handkerchiefs. I'll start looking at ties. I'll find a tie that, say if it's a pastel shirt, then I'll look at a tie that kind of has the tones of a pastel, because I don't want anything that's too sharp or bleak to be in opposition with the color of that shirt. Now, something personal that I do, and you can follow this too. I try to limit the tones that I put together. I normally don't go above 3 tones. I'll have, the shirt is a blank foundation, but your tie, your handkerchief, and your suit color, 3 tones. 3 tones match max, and then I just take it from there. Now, if it's a blank canvas, like let's say a white shirt, for example, that opens up the rim. I can put a white shirt on, but then I can add 3 more colors on top of that, because I don't count the white as in that 3 color limit that I normally do. Now, on occasion, it depends on if I have an extra color, say a 4th or a 5th color in there, and it's minute. Maybe I'm coordinating that with something else. Maybe there's something on my lapel, or maybe there's something that I'm wearing up underneath my pants as far as my socks are concerned. I may try to coordinate something with that just to give it a little bit of extra flair. So I mean, there's several different ways you can go about it. But normally, and this is my advice to you, if you're keeping it to a limit of 3 colors, then that normally works. Once you go over to that 4th color, it starts to get real busy, and then you end up in a place that you really don't want to be with your colors. So that's normally how I do it.
I'm a rebel. I like what he said, but I'm a rebel. Basically, I pick.
Oh, let me say this one caveat. A lot of times, I may not even match my handkerchief to my tie. I'll go a completely different way with my handkerchief. I've done that like plenty of times. I believe you don't really have to do that, and that's just to give it a little bit more, an additional flair. So I'll go completely different. I think you can just go wild with the handkerchief. Just me.
I don't follow any of that. I'm gonna tell you honestly, this is what I do. It depends on what it is. I may find a pair of shoes and then build a whole ensemble around a pair of shoes because I like those shoes. I do that all the time. If I like a pair of shoes, I'll figure out what to wear with those shoes. I may find a nice tie. I may build it. I build everything from that tie. And the reason why I do it that way is because I like certain things. And I realize that certain things don't always go with, like you said, you may find something that is very, very unique. And if it's very unique, you may have trouble just trying to find something that actually goes with that. But that's the whole point. You build that foundation based upon that. Now, if you have something that's universal that you can work with, that's great. But if it's something that you don't have that's universal, that's when the fun comes in. Like today, I just happened to come across, this light blue suit. It wasn't anything that I just, I was looking for, but I found it. And so my palette began with this baby powder blue. And so then I went and I looked at some different things and looked at the tie and, the pocket square and the whole nine. So it really is it's a random thing for me. No matter, where I'm going. I mean, if I'm going to if I'm going to an event, I definitely pay attention to what event I'm going to, of course. So I have to figure out, what the event is like, if it's just something that's truly upscale, something that's a little scaled down, whatever the case may be. So once I know what the event is, then I start looking at, depending on, what I have. If I have something that is like, okay, well, I've already got something for that. Or if I don't feel like I have something that I want to wear to this particular event, then, I'll go out and I'll start to look. And then again, I may walk into a store and I may see a tie, and that tie may be like, well, I like that tie. And I may in my mind say, I don't have anything to really wear with that tie. So then begins this whole build. I'll grab that tie probably, then I'll go store to look for, if it's an event where I'm only going to wear maybe a sports coat, or maybe even some type of sweater. I'll go and I'll start looking for those things. If I'm going to wear a suit, I'll go and I'll start looking at different suits. And it's easier to me to match a suit with a tie because there's so many, basic color suits. You find a very out there type of tie, you can go with a basic black. You can go, depending on the colors, but normally you can go with a basic black or a gray or just basic colors. As long as you don't have too many other colors that are accented in the suit, can't go wrong too much with that. But I really like building things from, what I see that I like. And most people always ask me about the thing that I buy, that I build from. That's what they ask me about. So if I bought some shoes, they normally like, where you get those shoes from? And that's normally a situation where, I really like the shoes, or it's something that I've known people to kind of look at online or like, or whatever the case may be. And I may just happen to get something either similar, or I may actually get those. But I like building from just different little pieces. Sometimes it may be a pocket square. I may find a pocket square I like, and like you said, it doesn't have to match my tie. I may really like that pocket square, and I'll just find, some ties and some things to put together with that. So I'm a very, I guess you could say, I'm an eccentric type of person when it comes to, actually building my ensemble or building my wardrobe. I just kind of look at what I like and then I put it all together. That way I'm kind of happy, but it's also a challenge to go out there and put everything together. So that's kind of how I do mine. So it's not a very traditional way, but I know a lot of people that kind of do similar things. You go out, you buy a tie, you go out, you buy a bunch of pieces, and sometimes you don't know what you're going to do with them. But me, once I buy that one piece, I try to go back in and just kind of build something around it. I hate to have something that I really like, and it happens sometimes. You have something that you really like, and you just can't find the one thing or the couple of pieces that go with it to wear it. I don't worry about it. You just keep looking, and eventually it'll come together.
Also in addition to that, I do a lot of stuff on the internet, so I have inspiration from others that are out there as well. I may see something that I'm like, man, that's really nice. So I'll take some inspiration from that and I'll try to replicate it. So there's other ways that you can formulate your outfits without using your own intellect in order to do that. So take us for example. If you see us and we try to post a lot of photos and give you different ideals on what you can do. So you can use us as an example as well. So you don't have to put a whole lot of thought into it. Just copy what you see.
Or if you're anything like me, you can find something, make your own version of it. I always believe in, if I see something I like, I want to make it my own, because everything doesn't always look good on everybody. So you have to sometimes tweak it to make sure it's your own. If you're a person that you see something with, a nice sweater vest and a coat that goes over that, maybe you're not you don't wear a lot of blazers. Well, rock that sweater vest. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So you just kind of find the pieces that match for you and make it your own. That's the whole point. Make your wardrobe your own, because if you start trying to dress like somebody else, and you see it, all the time out there where somebody will have something the same as you, or something that is very trendy and everybody's wearing, and you'll have that person be like, that really doesn't look right on them. So just kind of try to always, keep in mind, if you're copying somebody or you're getting ideas from somebody, make sure you try to figure a way to make it your own.
All right, cool. Let's jump into the next segment of this. We want to talk about a good fit educational-wise. Let's talk about that. You want to jump in? I'm going to step over here for a second. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, one of the main things I look at and that we talk about when it comes to education, of course, education is extremely important. When we talk about a good fit, one of the things that I want, anybody to know, I don't care, what your race or ethnicity is, schools are about a right fit. For those who don't understand the whole HBCU thing, I'm a product of a HBCU, North Carolina A&T State University, Aggie Pride. But it is so important that we make sure that our HBCUs are exposed the same way as the Ivy League schools, as the North Carolinas, the North Carolina states. All of these prestigious schools have their own rightful passage, but so do HBCUs from, A&T, Central, Howard, Coppin State, Fayetteville State. All of these colleges have great educational programs. So it would be remiss of us if we didn't make sure that our kids, our nephews, the younger generation coming around, they need to know the same thing. They need to know that they can get a quality education at an HBCU if that program is what they're looking for. One of the best programs in the world, the country, you name it, is the engineering program at North Carolina A&T. One of the best in the world. So if your child comes to you and they're saying that they're thinking about going into engineering, you have to put that in the mix. I mean, it's just, you would really be doing them a disservice if you don't give them the opportunity to check that program out at North Carolina A&T. And that, again, that doesn't matter what race you are. It's all about, if you're trying to get them a quality education, let's make sure that we're giving everybody the opportunity to make the right decision about their education, because a lot of times kids go off to these schools and they don't have, it's not a good fit for them. The one thing about an HBCU, I don't care whether you're white, black, Asian, whatever it is, they will make you feel at home and you will be family. Not saying that other schools don't do that. I just know from personal experience the love and the family feeling that I got just from being at North Carolina A&T.
I'm inclined to agree with everything that Terrence just said. I had a great experience at a HBCU at North Carolina A&T, and just coming from where I came from and joining that environment is such an enlightenment to meet other people that you have no idea of, the different realities that they came from. And that's another stepping stone that you can look at when you're choosing a higher education. You're going to be exposed to so many different things, and I'm not going to push you one way or the other. I just think, if you have the opportunity, just take the opportunity, and once you get there, just do the best you can. And to me, it's a transition. It's a different world from where you come from out of high school to whenever you make it into a college or a university level school. That's a whole total different ball game. I mean, you're basically on your own there. You have to make do with what you have. There's no one there that's going to push you or anything like that. I mean, your destiny is in your hands. So, like I said before, I agree with everything that Terrence said. Take that opportunity and run with it. So
it's also about research. It's important to do the research on these colleges, and again, make sure it's an all-inclusive research. Make sure that, if your child is interested in nursing, make sure you're looking at the programs that have great nursing programs at their school. Not the ones that offer that, but make sure that they have an elite program. And so, again, whether that be North Carolina A&T, whether that be Howard, whether that be Central, North Carolina Central has, a great law program. We may be at odds with them when it comes to, sports and just, which HBCU is better. But at the end of the day, they have a great program for law, just like we have a great program for engineering. And so those things have got to be in the forefront when you're sitting down with your teenagers or, your kids or however you do it, your nieces, your nephews, whoever. These things have to be in the forefront to make sure that we're allowing them to know about all the schools that they could benefit from, not just the one or two that everybody, kind of gravitates to.
Let me add a caveat to that. I would say, if you go to one school and if that school is not agreeing with you, I would suggest not staying and don't stay there. Transfer. Go to a different school. Find another school to go to. But I've talked to so many people that have went to a school and maybe their environment or however that school was set up was not conducive to how they learn or or what they needed in order to get ahead. They changed schools. They went to a different school, totally different environment, and they excelled in that environment. You do, like Terrence said, do your research. But upon doing your research and upon getting there and physically being in that location, if it's not something that sets right with you and it's not working for you, you're not limited. You don't have to stay there. Find somewhere else to go. Don't think that's the end of the road. Oh, I'm in this environment, I'm in school, I'm failing, and I can't make it. No, just find somewhere else to go. Simple as that.
That's part of the whole research thing. I mean, I truly suggest you try to do do your due diligence. Don't wait until senior year when you got 2-3 months. You may want to start that your junior year. Try to figure out what it is you want to do. And for those students who don't have a total understanding of where they want to go in terms of what field they want to be in, it's going to make it a little bit difficult. But it's not something that you can't get around. It's one of those things where even if you do, as he said, you can transfer from a school at any time you want. It's not like you're slated to be there the rest of your life. If it's not making sense for what you're trying to do, and sometimes students do find their way when they get to school and realize the program that they want and need is not at that school. So, but if you're doing your research, you kind of already have a few schools in mind once you get that, once you, I guess, have that epiphany. I would hate for you to get to school. If you do it, please try to do it in your freshman year, that first semester, because it's a whole lot to dig into a school, be there for 2.5-3 years, then try to transfer somewhere else and reacclimate yourself and realize, okay, some of the credits and some of the things that I took here don't transfer well here. So I took 2 classes for this, I only get credit for 1. So it's a lot to that, and you just don't want to get into doing all that. Get you a clean slate. If you're going to leave, get out there your freshman year. And hey, honestly, like Ron said, if you start out and you did, that first month and it's just not working for you and you're not feeling it, now that's not a reason to quit. I don't mean just quit. I'm just saying that you realize you made the wrong decision by coming to this school because it doesn't have what you need. Make the decision. That's part of adulthood too.
Let me add something else. And this is for our high school students or our junior high or freshman students prior to middle school. There are programs out there, and this is something for the parents. You can place your kids, and there are schools out there. They actually start accumulating college credits while they're in middle and high school. College credits. So do your due diligence if you're a parent out there and you're in a certain region that offer these schools. It may be worth your time to check it out, and if it's affordable for you, or maybe there's some type of program or whatever your situation might be, it may be worth putting your child into that school to give them a head start. Because once they have that head start, it kind of limits the hoops they're going to have to jump through later on, because they already kind of understanding the culture and the process of what they need to do as far as in a college environment or university environment like that. So it puts them ahead of the game. So they're not just jumping in there and they're getting slapped in the face with a new way of doing things. So do your research, give them the head start if you can. I think it'll be something great for your kids to put, to push them out there, and we do it for our kids. So, and I just see a total benefit. And plus, you're going to find a cost savings in that as well if you're a parent out there and you plan on paying for that child's education.
Well, the great part is what Ron was referring to. You can actually get an associate's degree coming out of high school. Just depends on what high school you go to. So you just have to know that. But unfortunately, I know firsthand it is extremely hard to get into some of those schools just because of zoning and all that stuff. So but those are things that you can make sure you research on, and like you said, do whatever you can do to make sure that the young people are prepared to go to college. These things are so important to them, and them not having the opportunity to understand, I have the opportunity to go to any college that I want. Especially if your kids have the grades, don't limit them to think that just going to Harvard or Yale is the best thing in the world for them, because it may be and it may not be. I'm not being negative. I don't want to have a negative connotation of the Ivy League schools. I'm just saying, don't limit them by thinking that if they can't get into Harvard, that they can't excel. If you go look at some of the, I guess you would say some of the people who've come out of HBCUs and some of the things that they've achieved in their lifetime, you know, from astronauts to presidential candidates to celebrity, all of these things come out of HBCUs as well. So I just don't want people to get limited in thinking that HBCUs don't have the same quality or the same educational opportunities that, you know, some of the Ivy League schools do.
I'm going to add another caveat to that. Based on what Terrence just said, there are community colleges out there that offer programs that can give you that head start as well. So don't overlook your community colleges as well. Check them out, see what they have to offer, and that could be a definite direction that you could start with. You don't have to end there, but you could definitely start there. If you can't go the other way or find your way in, or maybe you're on a wait list or something like that, whatever situation might be, do not overlook the community colleges.
No, not at all. The community colleges now are very, very focused on making sure that they help, you know, people get not only into four-year colleges, but make sure that you get certifications, make sure you get your associate's degree. I've got a certification in Lean Six Sigma. I'm a green belt thanks to a community college. So, I mean, of course, I got my undergrad at North Carolina A&T, but, you know, you get these certifications and all these different things from these community colleges, and that, you know, that's nothing to sneeze at. So make sure, not only that, when I speak, you know, myself, as an adult, if you're older and you're going back to school, same thing applies for you guys. Make sure that you're researching it. I know most of the time it comes down to finances, and so those are important things. But at the same time, if you're willing to spend a bunch of money here, make sure that you're doing all of your research to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck.
Let me add another caveat to that.
Boy, I don't know how many caveats you got.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. Speaking about certifications are, I don't know if a lot of people understand this or not about certifications. Certifications can carry even more weight than a college degree at certain points, depending on what fields you're in or what that company may be looking for. If you have certain certifications, these are things that they don't teach you in college, and companies look for it. In particular, and I know about this, particularly the IT field, they look heavily at what certifications that you have in a particular profession. So if you're looking at something and maybe going to a university level school is not for you, there are tons of resources out there to obtain a certification or multiple certifications, and you can do it at your own pace. And a lot of times it's very affordable to do that. Now you're going to have to do your due diligence and study to obtain these, but they can push you out there and they can really propel you in your career. Do not overlook certifications.
I agree. I totally agree.
It's very important.
And I honestly, you know, some of your bigger companies, Fortune 500 companies, send a lot of people back to school just to get certifications, and most of the time they won't send you to a university. They send you to well, some people still call them junior college, but they'll send you to a junior college or community college, and
or they'll find a program out there that offers that certification, and they'll just send it and pay for that certification for you.
And some of those are standalone programs. If you in the project management field, they have a standalone. If you want to get your PMP certification, there's some architectural building certifications that you can get. So I mean, there are a lot out there.
Yeah, there's a wide range of certifications that you can apply to or just sign up for. You just have to pay for them and go through the classes and learn what you need to learn and take the test. And if you pass, then you're certified in that thing. So
with that having been said, we really want to get into that with everybody. For one, you know, people have been, contacting us, asking us about how we put, things together, how we, put our suits together and do what we do. So that was just a little, kind of informational session.
And if we didn't give you enough information, feel free to reach out to us at any point, anytime. BaldwinCreech@gmail.com or ask at BaldwinCreech.com, either or send us a message. You can instant message us. You can leave a message on any of our pages. You can leave it on the GOS page, the Baldwin Creech page, the Instagram page, the YouTube page. You can do any of those. Twitter. You can get to us any of those ways. You can go to our LinkedIn pages and find us and communicate with us that way. So there's multiple ways to reach out to us and ask us the questions that you need to know, and we will definitely get back to you.
So with that having been said, make sure again, go out there and do your research. We want to make sure that our HBCUs are getting a fair shake. So with that having been said, go ahead.
Okay, once again, there's no excuse for good taste because at the Gentleman Style Show, we believe in better. You guys have a good one. We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
Chosen to bring forth that hope and put it back together when niggas thought it was broken, but it's open wide enough for the whole fam to come through. Dough stacking in bundles, flows tracks in the 1-2s. Get your run shoes. Run fast as you can. Here comes the Iron Man. Jump out the frying pan, smack dead in the fire. I ain't lying, man. Shorty said rest your head and retire, but I'm the boss, babe. Lawless Inc. AW.